Happy New Year, Dale.
Well, Happy New Year to you too.
Yeah, hope you had a good New Year and Christmas.
Nice and quiet. Love those.
Not for me, not with kids, not the quiet part. So, but they bring the joy, so I'm good with that. Let's jump into it. We have seen fantastic relief on interest rates. Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Well, about a month and a half ago, give or take, we were pushing 8%. They've come down almost 1.5%, which is indicative of where all the economists say things are going. I'm hopeful we've seen the worst of it, and at least the worst of it this time around. It will come back again in another 4, 5, 6 years. But this time around, I'm hopeful we've seen the worst of it. And boy, I'd like to see him in the 5s. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and I want to touch on one thing that you said. We're going to explore it much more in depth, but this is mortgage rates, and this has nothing to do with any changes that have happened with the federal funds rate. We're going to talk about it, but keep that in mind. This 1.5% downturn in the last couple of months is not related to any monetary changes. But all of these changes in interest rates are going to spur the market. And we know when this market goes, we're going to see home values go up like no other. So it is now crucial for buyers to enter into the market, get prepared. How do you do that? Credit education seminar. This is the first seminar of the year. It's on the second Tuesday of the month this time, but Tuesday, January 9th, 5 o'clock p.m., online or in person here at Homestead Mortgage. Give us a call. This is the best way to get the best interest rate. And it's always good to be educated.
And then January 23rd, the fourth Tuesday of this month, is the First Time Home Buyer Seminar. A lot of good information. First Time Home Buyer is someone who hasn't owned a home in 3 years and or has never owned a home. Lots of perks, lots of neat things, online, in person, 5 o'clock at the office.
Hope to see you all there. Let's talk about this mortgage news. Everyone's talking about it. It's making all of the changes. All the interest rate decreases that we have seen have only been an effect of news. Okay, keep that in mind. There have been no monetary changes. Fed holds rate steadies, indicates 3 cuts coming in 2024. That's the theme, that's the trend. Everyone is expecting cuts. You could be a little bit more pessimistic and say, well, we hit the peak, we're holding steady, eventually we will pivot lower. Or we could be a little bit more optimistic and say, we might see 3, maybe even 6 rate cuts. And then you could be super optimistic and say we might see the federal funds rate 3%, maybe even a little bit lower. But Dale, the federal funds rate is not the mortgage rate, correct?
Correct. Federal funds rate is the rate banks charge other banks for overnight lending. Imagine you go into a bank, you want to withdraw $1 million out of your account. Be nice to have $1 million, but likely the bank isn't going to have it there for you because they just don't keep that much cash on hand. So it's the overnight lending rate. However, it does sometimes and often correlates to lower mortgage rates as well. But I don't think mortgage rates aren't going to be 3%. I really doubt.
Yeah, so we're looking at the federal funds rate and we can see that there were sharp increases and things, but take a look at the last 2 years. We have had sharp increase like no other, and we're sitting at about 5.5%, which is not the same as our 6 and almost 6.5% for mortgage rates. And if we take a look at the fact at our peak, we were around 8% on mortgage rates on average, but we've been holding steady on the federal funds rate for quite a few months. None of those rate increases in the past really came from the federal funds rate increasing, well, except for this giant increase, but we've been holding steady. But now we've had this big downturn. Dale, why is there a downturn when the federal funds rate hasn't actually decreased?
Well, I believe what's happening is lending institutions are starting to hedge. We know Well, we don't know anything. We suspect rates are going to get better. A lender doesn't want to be priced out of the market. They don't want to be still loaning at 7% when the rest of the market is 6%. So they're starting to hedge right now, and they're starting to get ahead of the curve, anticipating a better mortgage rate community, if you will. So that's really what I think is happening now, which is a great thing.
Yeah, fantastic thing. And just to summarize it, if we don't know the federal rate's going to increase or decrease, you want to hedge your bets, create a little bit of a bigger cushion in case they do increase. That way you can still make some money. And then if you know that they're going to go down, well, then you can become more competitive in the market. You can reduce your margin, offer better rates, incentivize people to come back and start buying houses. And that's what the market is doing. They're starting to reduce their margins. They're starting to reduce their hedgings so that they can offer these lower rates. And reminder, no one has changed any Federal Reserve monetary policy. We have seen all of these rate decreases purely off of market outlook, which is great news. Other great news, 2024 loan limits have increased. Conventional VA, we're now looking at 766, 550. This did go up from last year. The reminder, loan limit, not sales price.
And then FHA is almost 500,000 in Amador County now. That is just fantastic. In high cost areas, it's even more than 498. It's a little over $1 million. Amador County, Calaveras County are not high cost areas, but that's okay. 500 is a beautiful number for us.
So that about wraps it up for today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to answer your questions, and we wish you the very best of 2024.
Have a great new year.
All right. Take care, Dale.
Bye now.